Gerbiami ponai, ponios, gerbiami svečiai.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, I'm pleased to open this extraordinary historical event of great importance for the Lithuanian Notariat, the ceremony of handover of powers of the Council of Notaries of the European Union. Our distinguished guests attending the ceremony are the following: Evelina Dobrovolska, Minister of Justice of the Republic of Lithuania; Gabija Grigaitė-Daugirde, Deputy Minister, Vice Minister of Justice of the Republic of Lithuania; Irena Hase, the Chair of the Committee on Legal Affairs of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania; Lionel Galies, President of the International Union of Notaries; Peter Stelmachik, President of the European Union Council of Notaries 2023. The ceremony is also attended by the deans of law faculties of universities, representatives of Seimas, diplomatic missions, presidents of the notariats of the following European Union countries: Germany, Luxembourg, the Czech Republic, Greece, Latvia, the Netherlands, and Slovakia, as well as the representatives and delegations from France, Italy, Hungary, Spain, and Poland. Last December in Brussels, we celebrated the 30th anniversary of the Council of Notaries of the European Union. Today, 22 notariats of the European Union are members of this international organization, and the notariats of 7 countries, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Serbia, Turkey, Ukraine, Albania, and Moldova, are observer members. In 2004, Lithuania was admitted to the European Union together with 9 other countries, which paved the way for our membership in the Council of Notaries of the European Union. It is highly symbolic that this year, 2024, marks the 20th anniversary of our membership. This is a year of hard work, experience, change, continuous improvement, and efficiency in the work processes of notaries. The membership in the European Union has undoubtedly contributed to and shaped what we are today and what we will aspire to tomorrow. Today, we are addressed by the Speaker of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, Viktorija Čmilytė-Nilsen, in a video greeting. Dear members of the Lithuanian foreign notarial communities, ladies and gentlemen, law is a complex system. This is due to the extensive regulation, the specific language, the dynamics. Even for a well-educated person, it's not easy to understand. Therefore, in order to feel secure in the legal environment, a person needs legal experts to protect his or her legitimate interests and to help him or her to not get lost among the changing provisions of the law. Legal experts are needed to ensure that the legal document to be signed is well drafted and complies with the requirements of the law and other legislation. The state has entrusted the role of such legal expert primarily to notaries, and I'm convinced that being a notary is one of the most important functions. Clients usually leave your offices happy. For example, in the case of a real estate transaction, one party gets money and the other gets the house or apartment. Of course, if the notary's functions are carried out competently and importantly in accordance with strict ethical rules. Last year marked exactly 30 years of such a qualified and ethical Latin-style notariat in Lithuania. The independent Lithuanian notariat has become an integral part of our legal system and a member of the full-fledged notarial family of the European Union. Today, Lithuanian notaries are turning yet another page in the history and credibility of the profession. For the first time, the Lithuanian Association of State-Authorized Private Persons is assuming the presidency of a large pan-European legal community of more than 45,000 members. I congratulate you on this significant event. And I would like to take this opportunity and to say that the Council of Notaries of the European Union is a federation of positive energy and the necessary changes. And the energy and experience coming from the Central Europe, including from Lithuanian notaries, is particularly valuable. It is Lithuanian notaries who have been methodologically and practically assisting in the implementation of notarial changes in Ukraine, Moldova, and other countries for more than a decade. After the outbreak of Russian aggression against Ukraine, Lithuanian notaries started to mobilize international support and to provide their own support to the citizens of this country, members of the notarial community, and their families who are suffering from war. Let the Lithuanian presidency of this organization be an incentive for an even closer dialogue with the European Commission. I believe it will encourage the expansion of the Latin-style notarial system, strengthen the role of notaries in society, ensure the security of legal transactions, the rule of law, and respect for human rights. Dear notaries, the social usefulness of your profession is undeniable, especially in these turbulent times, when disputes, which a notary is supposed to prevent, sometimes become more profitable than consensus. We must therefore join forces to protect and consolidate our democracies, of which the Latin Notariat is an integral part. I wish you every success and Lithuanian notaries an honorable presidency over the Council of Notaries of the European Union. I thank the Speaker of the Seimas, and I would like to welcome the Minister of Justice of the Republic of Lithuania, Ms. Evelina Dobrovolska, for a word of congratulations. Dear notaries and guests, probably we have more notaries here than guests. I'm delighted to congratulate you on this occasion. This presidency is the first one in the history of Lithuania, and I hope it's not the last, because it's a huge recognition of Lithuanian notaries on the international level. The Lithuanian notaries' ambitions and able to lead and to continue the 30-year-old mission of the Council. It is able to protect the interests of the European citizens, companies, and people in general. Cooperation with the European Union institutions is of great importance, and a lot of relations between the citizens of the European Union are regulated at the level of the European Union. And of course, citizens normally have a lot of questions, and notary is an entity who has to say a word when he or she is addressed for explaining these issues. I'm delighted that the role of the Council becomes increasingly more important and allows to follow the changes in regulation, and notaries participate actively in lawmaking. The Lithuanian Notariat often provides the proposals to us, and Lithuanian Notariat is our partner. The priorities of the Lithuanian presidency are the priorities for Lithuania and the priorities for the European Union. Ensuring the rule of law is an important objective. The Lithuanian Notariat is a contemporary and modern notariat. It uses contemporary methods. It digitalized its functions, and it allows to get an appointment with a notary much faster. And it increases the accessibility of notarial acts. I would like to share my insights as the minister. We had a lot of discussions with the Lithuanian Notariat as to how the Notariat can respond to the changes of technologies and what effect it has on the Lithuanian Notariat and other notariats. These discussions are held in Lithuania, and we also are discussing whether technologies will replace notaries. And the example of the Lithuanian Notariat is to be followed, and it shows that technologies can contribute to the notarial functions rather than replace it. Notaries are also involved in ensuring that sanctions imposed upon Russia are in place and are not circumvent. And I would like to thank all the notaries that assist in ensuring this. Dear Mario, dear board members, may I wish you a successful year, an interesting year, and may I wish a breakthrough in leadership and making notariates more modern. Thank you.
Ačiū, ministrė.
Thank you, Minister. Now I would like to invite the Chair of the Committee of Legal Affairs of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania for a word of congratulations. Ms. Irena Hase, the floor is yours.
Gerbimieji Lietuvos notarai,
Honorable notaries, representatives of notariats, Honorable Dr. Peter Stelmachek, Honorable President Marius Strečkaitis, honorable guests. As it has been mentioned, in 2004, on the 1st of May, Lithuania joined the EU, and the Lithuanian Notariat became a member of CNUE during the General Assembly in Athens, became a member and a part of the European family of notariats. Every year, the presidency of CNUE rotates, and every other member state is able to preside over the CNUE. 2024 is the year when Lithuania, for the first time in 20 years of its membership, will take over the presidency of this organization. And that is a highly important moment, not only for the Lithuanian Notariat, but for Lithuania itself. This is a remarkable event with highlights the strength of our Notariat, the professionalism of our Notariat, but it also obliges us to create the future of the European Notariat. Lithuania will become a key element in the work of European Notariat, contributing to the development of European Notariat and ensuring better conditions for legal life for European citizens, accessibility to legal services, and protection of consumers. The role of Lithuanian Notariats and their experience and significance may be a perfect example for the legislative powers of many states, member states, to trust many more powers to notaries. So this solemn event represents not only the achievements of Lithuanian notaries, but also the cooperation level of European notariats. I truly hope that this period will be full of cooperation, sharing of ideas, and solidarity that is typical of European notariats. So very warm congratulations to you, President Strečkaitis, and all the Lithuanian notaries. I wish you best of luck and good cooperation with the European community of notaries. So please enjoy this event. Thank you, Chair. I'm extremely delighted to invite a person who has specially arrived for this event. That is the President of the International Union of Notaries, Lionel Galliès. The floor is yours, President.
Madame la ministre de la Justice de Lituanie.
Dear Minister of Justice, Madam Deputy Minister of Justice, Mr. President of CNUE, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, presidents, their colleagues. On behalf of the International Union of Notaries, I would like to congratulate and wish you a very happy new year. And first of all, I would like to congratulate you, President Strachkaitis, in taking over your presidency of CNUE. And I would like to congratulate your office and the new Secretary General, who will soon start his role. And the one with whom our colleague Elena Bevila Aqua will be able to exchange and work. I would also like to salute you, President Stelmachik, for your work during the 2023. We extend our gratitude to you. I attach great importance to the quality of relations that exist between CNUE and our union, because together we can do a lot. Last month in Brussels, we have celebrated the 30th anniversary of CNUE. It was an opportunity for me to remember and reiterate that CNUE, in our opinion, is a highly important organization in Europe to ensure our presence in Europe. We act as complementaries to each other. Our organizations have complementary roles. So this is why we have to work together. At this time, when we highlight the direction where we'd like to move on, I would like to mention two aspects which could contribute to our joint work. These two topics, on one hand, are challenges to our profession. On the other hand, they can also open opportunities. While working together, while trusting ourselves, we can ensure that our notarial function would complement the legal system. Self-confidence is highly important. We have to define very clear goals and to resist the threats and risks. And that is highly important in ensuring cooperation. The first topic that I would like to mention, and this has been also already addressed by Mr. Strachkaitis, that is digitization. Or it may be a topic which is not so well understood in other countries, because in some countries notaries are not a part of the judicial system, of the legal system. I mean the roles and functions that are carried out by notaries. So we need to take this into account. Many states want to make the work of courts easier by transferring the non-disputed cases to notaries. These competences can be transferred to notaries. Our status as civil servants and the fact that we closely cooperate with judges may turn us into so-called amicable judges or magistrates, when we can address various cases, such as divorce on mutual consent or undisputed succession cases. So for this reason, I asked our union and the Committee of European Affairs of our union to describe the cases when such transfer of competences were successful. And I'm grateful to Madam Valentina Rubertelli, who has done an enormous work and worked really hard on the matter of divorce. And we already see that various decisions that have been adopted in this area were successful. So in order to ensure our movement in this course, we have to avoid the situations when judges are seeing us as rivals. I understand that there may be various reservations and doubts, given the fact that our profession is very closely related to the work of judiciary system. So it is very important to avoid any kind of misunderstanding and to seize the opportunities that are presented in front of us. It is highly important to address the expectations of judges and public authorities. That would be the way for us to make the work of courts so much easier, because courts have such a high workload. For this reason, last year in November in Brazil, together with the Secretary General of the International Union of Notaries, together with Giacomo Oberto, I have signed a cooperation agreement which would ensure our work in the same direction. The text of this agreement has been circulated to every member state of our union. And this is our way to show that notaries are prepared to respond the needs and the expectations of other institutions in ensuring our common interest. Another topic where we can cooperate together in 2024, that is the matter of succession. And it is highly important to assess and address what has been achieved so far, given the fact that the regulation on this matter in the EU has been in place for 10 years. This text has harmonized the numerous conditions which apply in the EU. But if we want to enhance these results even further, we have to tell the institutions of what does not work or work not so well. So here, notaries are truly the experts on this matter, because they have been using this piece of legislation for 10 years, and our voice needs to be heard on this matter. And I have this universal competence in mind, especially when we speak about non-EU countries. I have not noticed any difficulties or troubles when it comes to succession, when we have to apply the laws of a particular member state. But this situation becomes much more complicated when we start talking about countries which work under the common law system. In those countries, it is very difficult to respond very simple questions such as, who is the successor? What share of the asset is allocated for them? I'm not even talking about the principles of reciprocity with those countries. It is very important to mention these hurdles, these difficulties to the European Commission. And it is a chance for us to address the advantages of our continent law in respect of the common law. Because those situations are not very easy to address, and we should emphasize once again our European identity and the supremacy of the continental law. We have to make use of all that and not to be scared to define and identify these matters. I'm sure that continental law and notariat are two highly important factors, and they follow the same values, which have to be clearly stated. First of all, that is prevention. That is the essence of our profession, and protection of people and their rights, retaliation or the idea of bringing peace to legal and social relations. That is our contribution, and it would be very useful to a broader debate that exists between the representatives of continental law and those of common law. Our Vice President for Europe, Jens Bormann, is in charge of various complicated issues. He works with the World Bank, with the OECD, and he takes part in various working groups in those organizations. And to conclude, Mr. Strachkaitis, I would like to extend my congratulations once again to you, and I would like to emphasize that our organizations work for the same purposes and work for the same cause. I would like to thank you for your hospitable reception in these halls and these chambers. And we see that we haven't forgotten anything and nothing has been lost. So we can restore everything if we know what goal we are following. Thank you, President. May I now invite the President of the Council of the Notaries of the European Union for 2023, Peter Stelmacek, to the rostrum.
Dear Minister of Justice Dobrowolska, dear Vice Minister of Justice Grigajte Dogierde, dear Chairman of the Committee of the Legal Affairs of the Seimas, Haase, dear Head of the Committee Office on Legal Affairs of the Seimas, Komparskine, dear Honorary Consul Lignugaris, dear Ms. Rubio del Barrio, dear President Strachkaitis, dear Marius, dear President Galliès, cher Lionel, dear Presidents, dear colleagues and friends, dear guests. I'm really glad to be here today and hope you all had a great start into the new year 2024. Almost 1 year ago, we gathered in Berlin where I formally received the presidential powers from my dear friend Gianpaolo Marcos. After an exciting and very eventful year that went by in a blink, so to say, I now have the honor of doing the same and handing over to another very dear friend, Marius Strachkaitis. First, I would like to congratulate our new president, Marius, as well as the entire Lithuanian Notariat to a wonderful event, which started yesterday and is lasting over today. Thank you for organizing our festivities and welcome us here in your beautiful city of Vilnius. As the outgoing president, I would like also to express my deepest gratitude for last year's joint presidency with the Latvian Chamber of Notaries. It's really a symbol of the long-standing friendship between the Latvian and the German notarial chambers. And dear Yannis, I deeply appreciate the trust that you and your Latvian colleagues have put into the Federal Chamber of Notaries in Germany and me personally by nominating me as your candidate last year. Thank you very much again. Furthermore, I would like to thank my fellow board members. I appreciated our very fruitful and efficient, constructive exchanges, and I truly enjoyed working with you as you could witness board meeting by board meeting. So thank you for navigating our organization safely through the not always shallow waters of the past year. To review the past year, I would like to briefly touch upon 2 legislative files that have been of particular importance during the last year for the CNUE. First, the new initiative on upgrading digital company law, and second, the legislative package on anti-money laundering. So, 4 years after the first Digital Tools Directive came into force, the European Commission introduced a new initiative on upgrading digital company law, as we all know. Back in 2019, the possibility throughout the European Union to remotely form limited liability companies, file documents with the respective registers, and also register branches were introduced throughout Europe. Now, the new proposal provides for the next step into the digitalization of European company law by the expansion of digital tools not only to limited liability companies but also to private partnerships, by improving the exchange of documents and information quickly through the Business Registers Interconnection System, the BRIS, By the introduction of a new EU company certificate, which is easily readable and understandable throughout Europe. And last but not least, by introducing the digital EU power of attorney, which will facilitate doing business across Europe. This will make life easier, both for entrepreneurs, businesses, and citizens alike. And one of the initiative's key elements is the recognition, the mutual, reciprocal recognition of company data across borders. And of course, recognition means trust, and trust requires correct company data across borders. And this is why the Commission calls for public preventive control of company data by courts, administrative authorities, and/or notaries. So this is the right approach for several reasons. First, public officials as notaries are responsible for safeguarding public interests. That goes along. This makes them different from other legal professionals who are bound by their role within a democratic society to act only in their clients' interests, but not necessarily in the public interest. Yet the functioning of a public register requires that public interests are being served. Second, providing for a public input control will increase the reliability, accuracy, and correctness of company data. And this improved transparency and increased reliability of company information will contribute in turn to secure and speedy processes in cross-border company law transactions. And as a result, public input control will ultimately strengthen the single market as such. And third, a public input control is a key component in preventing abuse of company law as well as other illegal activities, such as money laundering, terrorist financing, and sanction evasion. And particularly the issue of money laundering already brings me to then the second very important legislative file that we were dealing with in the past year, the AML package. So in the past, notaries have proven to be reliable allies in the fight against money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. And I am convinced that the European Notariat will continue to contribute to an effective fight against money laundering. And we know all that this is a very crucial fight, especially in times of war. It is estimated that an amount of 715 billion to 1.87 trillion euros is laundered each year. This roughly amounts to 2 to 5% of the annual global GDP. And it is therefore highly important that we are very vigilant in our fight against these complex, widespread, and multifaceted illegal activities. The initiative of the European Commission to foster the rules in the fight against money laundering is therefore highly timely and highly welcome. And on the other hand, we have to admit that our resources are not endless. We need to use them in the best and most efficient manner possible. And therefore, in line with the voices that have been raised by many members of the European Council, this November we have to make sure that we do not only tick boxes, but focus on a risk-based approach. And we highly appreciate that this is exactly the discussion also through the and during the trilogue negotiations, that we will exactly follow this risk-based approach when it comes to anti-money laundering combating. But I don't not only want to look back today. Today marks a very important date. We are passing over the powers to our Lithuanian colleagues and friends, and in particular to you, dear Marius. The Lithuanian Chamber of Notaries and also the Bundesnotarkammer look back to a very long-standing history of friendship and collegiality. 32 years ago, the law of the Notariat of the Republic of Lithuania came into force. Since then, there has been very intensive and fruitful exchanges between the Lithuanian and the German Chamber of Notaries, in particular the German Notariat, namely Mr. Hans-Dieter Lohners and Mr. Richard Bock, who is also present here today, was able to offer its support in implementing the principles of the Latin-type notariate in Lithuania. Over these past 32 years, the Lithuanian notariate has accomplished a lot. Just to name a few accomplishments, under your presidency, dear Marius, the Lithuanian Chamber of Notaries, for example, has embraced digitalization and proven its front-runner position in the digital sphere. Since 1st July 2021, many notarial acts can be performed remotely in Lithuania, increasing the accessibility, convenience, and continuity of notarial activities. Still, while transferring notarial authentic acts to the digital sphere, our Lithuanian colleagues are set to maintain legal certainty, which is the second pillar of our work. Let me just give you two examples. The Lithuanian Chamber of Notaries has created their own platform called e-Notaras to provide for a safe infrastructure. But further, Lithuanian law provides for a discretionary right to decline performing a remote authentication in order to protect a participant's legitimate interests. And this is important alike. And this shows that a successful transformation to the digital world is possible without making any sacrifices when it comes to legal certainty. And I'm convinced that this is no coincidence that you, dear Marius, choose digitalization as one of your presidential priorities for next year. And I look forward to your ideas and input as CNUE President, not only as regards digitalization, but also your other presidential priorities, both the strengthening of the notarial profession as well as the support of our Ukrainian neighbors are well-chosen goals. And I wish you and your team all the best for this year's presidency, dear Marius. I am convinced that it will be a successful year for you, the Lithuanian Notariat, and the CNUE as a whole. And should you ever require any support or advice, I'm happy to assist you. Congratulations again to you, dear Marius. Now the floor is yours.
Ponios ir ponai, gerbiami svečiai.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear notaries, I will start my final address from the perspective of 5 centuries. We are here in the palace of the Grand Dukes of Lithuania, restored through the efforts of the people of Lithuania. In the mid-16th century, the last Grand Duke of the Jagiellonian dynasty and King of Poland, Sigismund Augustus, who ruled from this building, ordered in 1551 to draft a new version of the most important document of the state, the statute. This 15-year work, or the working group, if we speak in modern terms, who worked with the preparation of statute, was led by Mykolai Radvila the Black, a representative of one of the Lithuania's most prominent noble families. and involved the most eminent scholars of ecclesiastical canon, regional, urban, and Roman law of the time. Finally, on the 11th of March, in 1566, the second statute of Lithuania came into force. Why I'm talking about this? Because it was in this statute that the clerk of the land court was obliged to keep the books of the land court, to make entries in them, and to make extracts from them. Not only did the books of the land court record the interrogations of the courts, the progress of the cases, the testimony of witnesses, and the judgments of the courts, but they also recorded a wide range of documents and acts. These included privileges of individuals or groups, wills, contracts of sale and purchase, exchange, building contracts, letters from the Grand Duke of Lithuania, notices, inventories, descriptions of property and land boundaries, records of donations, acts of acceptance and transfer of guardianship, and a host of other documents. In other words, the clerk of the land court performed the duties of a notary. Therefore, 1566, the year of the adoption of the Second Statute of Lithuania, can also be regarded as the year of the establishment of the Lithuanian Notariat as a legal institution. Therefore, we have chosen this palace to host this important event as an important place for the notarial profession, and in order to show the historical roots of our profession. As I begin my one-year term as a president of the Council of Notaries of the European Union, I would like to thank my dear German colleague, Dr. Peter Stelmaschik, for the work he has done, and the teams of the CNUE and the German Federal Chambers of Notaries led by him, as well as all the fellow notaries from the CNUE member countries who have been actively involved in the activities of the organization and the numerous working groups. Dear colleagues, the work done by all of you allows us, the Lithuanian presidency team, to follow the well-trodden path. Thank you very much.
I am pleased to take over the helm of the Council of the Notaries of the European Union. I think it will not be an easy presidency. On one hand, the head of the CNUE has to speak in one voice, but he has to respect the national characteristics and specific cities of each notariat. Representing more than 45,000 European notaries is a difficult task and a great responsibility. This year's CNUE management team and the Vice President of the Council of Notaries of the European Union for 2024, Martin Schäfer, other members of the board, President of the Czech Chamber of Notaries, Radim Neubauer, Matteo Gaglione, representative of the Italian Notariat, Francisca Castro, Vice President of the Portuguese Chamber of Notaries, Lawrence Legu, Second Vice President of the French Superior Council of Notaries, Mr. Tomasz Kot, Vice President of the Polish Chamber of Notaries, and the German Notariat will participate in the work of the board as an honorary notary presidency of the CNUE in 2023. During the presidency, I will be assisted by the CNUE office in Brussels and the administration of the Lithuanian Chamber of Notaries. So let us all work together to ensure the continuity of our solid council, while also focusing on the priorities of this presidency and as a president, I will reiterate them. First and foremost, strengthening the notarial profession. Lithuania is one of the countries whose legislators are constantly assigning new functions and responsibilities to notaries. The country values the quality, reliability, speed and efficiency of the work carried out by notaries. Let us help those notariats that have few functions and can take them over from other institutions by sharing our experience and by supporting them. Let us help those notariats that have sufficient functions. Let us help them maintain those functions. The second priority of our presidency is the digitization of notarial services. While continuing the work of the previous CNUE president, I will focus on the digital agenda. The Lithuanian Notariat is certainly well advanced in this area, we have developed a information system, e-Notaras. We have integration interfaces with the state registers, and we can perform almost all notarial acts remotely. As I have said many times before, despite the rapid development of digital technologies and the digitization of processes, it is still important that the role of a notary as a professional who ensures legal certainty remains. Another priority is support for Ukraine. We must not tire of supporting Ukraine, both in reforming and digitizing the notariat and in helping those notaries and their families who have been affected by the war. We plan to organize a conference dedicated to Ukraine on 13th of September in Vilnius. In this year of the presidency, we will continue the tradition of meeting almost every month at the board meetings to discuss current issues of the organization. In March, June and December, we will convene general assemblies of all member notariats. We are already organizing a plenary general assembly in Vilnius on the 12th of June, where we will formally welcome the new observer members, Albanian and Moldovan notariats, and sign a cooperation agreement with the notariats of Georgia, and if approved by the CNUE General Assembly in March, the Georgian notariat will also be admitted as observer member. On 13th of September, we will also hold a Lithuanian Presidency Conference in Vilnius to support the Ukrainian notariat, where we will share our experience in the development and strengthening of the notarial profession and discuss further cooperation with Ukraine, other observer members, and CNUE partner countries. In cooperation with the CNUE team, we look forward to achieving the results we have set ourselves. We wish continued success to the working groups that are working on specific topics, new and upgraded amendments to existing European Union legislation. Their work is important. The work and experience of each working group and each notariat is highly meaningful. We look forward to welcoming the new Secretary General, whose nomination was recently approved by the General Assembly. I believe and wish I thank everyone who attended the ceremony for the handover of powers of the Council of Notaries of the European Union in 2024. I wish everyone a good start of the new phase and pleasant stay in Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania. So thank you for your attention.